Hello and welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate the Star Wars movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
And I'm Andy Robinson of the Underdog Night Soldiers rock band.
And I am Ella Moran, and I do not exist on the internet, so don't look me up.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Well, welcome back, Ella, and welcome back to the show, but not this show, not this season, but welcome back, Andy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, wait, we had you on last season, right?
I think so. Yeah. I remember we were talking about lasers and spacecrafts. And,
that was definitely
I guess that could have been any of them, right?
Spacecrafts.
Spacecrafts. Yeah. Like weaving, basket weaving.
Although it's kind of funny because most of the new Star Wars movies after episode 6, I've only seen one time. Mm. And so the 1 minute you had me as a guest on, it was so out of context for me that it was really hard for me to understand. I don't know the movies like you all do.
It's okay.
And that's what made it special.
Well, we threw you a relatively easy. There's not too much to keep track of here because we're talking about the credits. So it should be a lot less confusing, we hope.
Thanks for saving one of the best minutes of the movie for me. I appreciate it.
So Andrew, when is the last time that you saw this film that we're discussing the credits of today?
Oh my gosh, probably a month after it came out. Yeah. So how long ago was that?
You watched it every day for a month when it came out, and then you just cold turkey, just like I got to stop.
That was 4 years ago, the heady days of 2018.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'd like to give myself at least 10 years between viewings so I could really absorb it and come up with my own theories. I mean, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can come up with some theories about minute 128 of Solo: A Star Wars Party. 128 starts with Alden Ehrenreich, his name floating in space, and it ends with supervising art director Alistair Bullock.
That's a powerful name.
Very British.
Or I think of Canadian. I think of You Can't Do That on Television, of course, Alistair Gillis.
But
yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
I have a question for our two guests. I already know Pete's answer to this, but I'm curious: are you guys the type? Are you people the type to sit through the entire credits of a film, or do you get up and skedaddle once the names start rolling up there? Now, so Pete, we all know you stick around to the very end.
I mean, I usually see films with Pete, and so I also, and that's going on. How many years, Pete? 20 some odd, a long time. So for the last 20 some odd years, I've definitely stuck around for the credits, unless I really have to pee, and then I'm out of there.
You could probably figure out how many hours of credits you've sat through just because.
Probably.
So if you go on your own,
now I do. Now it is I don't think that I did.
Ingrained in you.
I don't remember. I don't remember life before Pete. I don't remember if I did.
I will supplemental material that our children now will not leave. They want to watch the credits for everything because they also want to see if there's a sting. They're like, wait, we got to see if there's a sting, like no matter what it is.
But they also
this movie was made in 1972. There's no sting, believe me.
But I think they just like watching them now, too. Like they like listening to the music. And if there's any kind of animation or special font, or like even when they know there's no sting, they usually say they want to keep watching. But they may be addicted to screens, and that could be why.
Right. That could be part of it.
What about you, Andrew? Do you stay? Or do you go?
I think if the music is good, I will stick around. Although those of you who listen to our other podcast, Godfather Minute, you'll recall a couple of weeks ago, Alex and I were talking about seeing movies in a theater, and Alex appallingly said that it is his right to throw garbage in a movie theater.
I'm sorry. What?
Like when you go there, it's expected you're going to throw candy on the floor and spill soda pop and just dump popcorn. So now I kind of want to stick around to see not only what Alex has left there, but what everybody else has. I disagree with that attitude. I think there's a collective understanding we're going to do our share. But
weirdly,
absolutely.
In a stadium, I agree. In a movie theater, no. Movie theater, the other day we went to the movies and I picked up somebody else's garbage on my way out.
That's probably why.
Yeah, okay, wait, sorry. You agree. I was almost shocked for a minute. So you are saying, Pete, that you would leave trash in a stadium, but not in a
There is
movie
something
theater.
weird about in a stadium that you can leave it under the seat and it's fine. And I that might...
It disappears when you put it under the seat.
It's gone, as if it never existed, right?
I'm trying to figure out, is that
this is
just...
appalling.
That might just be like a baseball stadium. It might just be like outdoors because it's open roof. It's like, we're outside. I can just... It's not,
so it's better to throw your garbage around when you're outdoors in the natural environment.
Logically, I don't agree with what I just said, but like there is something like I know I'm more likely to do it in a stadium, but never in a movie theater.
I'm really
more
glad.
like than you think.
You know, Pete, that might be a product of the teams you're a fan of because they must do so poorly that you end up just throwing all your junk onto the field.
Yeah,
so you feel it's okay.
I'm the kind of
nihilistic.
I'm the reserves kind of more. I'm doing my part by not throwing it on the ice or on the field. Like I'll just leave it under the seat. That's much easier to clean up than throwing it at the players.
Lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
I guess if it's out. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Andrew, I'm so glad that you brought this up because I think now Pete will be shamed into cleaning up after himself at stadiums from here on out. So thank you.
well, at least I think, Pete, at least you'll be more mindful of it when you're leaving that.
I'll be like
24 ounce.
See what I did?
Exactly. Well, and not to sidetrack us, but the context of me bringing that up, Alex and I were discussing. He asked me an appalling question. That's the word for tonight. He asked me if you had to wake up naked, either on a New York City subway floor, or a movie theater, or a brothel. I think is that the third choice?
We were talking about in The Godfather. The guy wakes up in a brothel and he can't remember how he got there and all that stuff. So. Yeah.
And so that's why Alex brought up he would not want to wake up naked in a movie theater because everyone is entitled to and encouraged to throw their garbage there.
That's true for the subway too, though. So
I guess
brothel's probably the cleanest of those three.
What time of year is it, and what city are you in?
The details. It is for which we'll say the peak of baseball season, and it's the low point of brothel season. So.
Okay.
Right.
Well, then in that case, definitely brothel.
Ripping the signs off the wall. Baseball season, brothel season.
So yes, the credits.
The credits. We got so let's make a note of this. Well, I literally made a note of it because the order that they are listed in here. Let's talk about the politicking of the order
Showbiz.
of actors. Now, I was going to say we're going to guess it, but Ellie, you're scrubbing through it again right now.
I'm scrubbing through. I mean, obviously, it's a Han Solo story. It is a solo story.
Right. So Alden Ehrenreich, no surprise, is going to be listed first. Then
Not Billy.
Woody Harrelson.
Sure.
Sure. He's a big name. Literally. And Emilia Clarke. Sure. The female lead, the love interests, etc. And also, a big part of the story.
And the rightful heir to the Seven Kingdoms.
That's right.
That's true.
I mean, it's just can't put her too far down, right?
Yeah.
Get
Woody
that dragon
Harrelson,
fire.
Then the rightful heir to the Seven Kingdoms. Then Donald Glover comes into the movie later. It's a smaller part. He's not in it as much, but it's a big part in our hearts.
Big part.
And he's a name. He's somewhat of a name.
Yeah. Then Tandy Newton was next, and I was like, I forgot she was in this because it was, she's, also, an actor with enough with a name recognition, but she was in it kind of early on. Then Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which is
the lady robot,
right? So she's also she's in a suit, and
is she in a suit?
She was on set wearing the costume with the robot parts on it, and then they digitally kind of went and erased and enhanced the robot parts.
Neat.
Like Jar Jar, kind of.
Kind of like Jar Jar.
Okay.
Digital plastic surgery, they call it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Wave of the future.
Yeah.
Then Joonas Suotamo as Chewbacca. And it says as Chewbacca. Because he's probably got more screen time than almost anybody.
Right.
You know, than a little bit less than Alden Ehrenreich because he doesn't show up for a little while. But I'd say he's got more screen time than...
But he doesn't have any soundtrack time. Like, you never hear his voice.
Well, you didn't hear the single? The single that they released from this movie was Chewbacca singing.
Wait, so does he get an as Chewbacca to kind of boost him up, even though he's like, he should maybe be a little bit higher up in the credits, but he gets the as Chewbacca as like a...
I think that's like a negotiating thing. Like, all right, you'll be near the bottom, but you get an as Chewbacca.
Yeah.
And then Paul Bettany gets an and Paul Bettany, which is a big thing. That's like, oh yeah, all these other people and Paul Bettany. Like that's a like.
Yeah.
So is it more prestigious to be at the end then?
I think if you're not going to be first, you want to be and or with, or you want a conjunction.
Well, I feel like the as something is traditionally a kind of way of calling attention to the person, like, and this person as George, you know, like, it draws your attention as opposed to just a random list of names, because then you're at least. So,
but didn't they typically do that for famous people who were making a cameo, or am I misremembering that? Like on a sitcom, and Nell Parker as.
Well, yeah, that's an and an as.
Oh yeah, that's where you want to be.
Like, like if you're getting a conjunction and an as, then you're.
The one that always confused me is when a movie would have a special guest star. Like, what does that mean? How is that possible? It's like, I could see on a TV show if someone doesn't normally appear, but like, you know, we didn't think we'd get him for the movie, but we're having a special guest star show up. So
there's a last minute script edition, right?
Right. Yeah. Depending on if you see it tomorrow, they might not be in it.
Oh yeah, the limited availability.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a good gimmick, though, is if they shoot a movie and then they almost like Clue, where like the first week it has one actor in it, and then if you like, next week so and so is taking over as the character.
Easier to do these days with digital delivery.
They can do anything now.
It's almost like, you know, like banner ads or like dynamic inserted ads in a podcast, which somebody might hear now.
So, Alex, with that idea, would it be better to have the more famous and the star power later in the release season, or do you want to start with that and then weaken it with lesser celebrities as the months and weeks and months roll on?
You probably want to do it's probably like a reverse bell curve, where you want a big star at the beginning to get people interested, and then you have like someone else the second week, and then the third week and it's all surprise, of course. You don't announce ahead of time who's going to be in it until it's out, because you don't want people waiting. Oh, Laurence Olivier is going to be in week 4. I'm just going to wait until I see it in that. He was originally going to be Chewbacca in the movie. They're going to have a CGI Laurence Olivier playing Chewbacca in the film.
Yeah, I think you got to do that. I think maybe you should start off with like a regular cast, then you kind of add stunt. But it was like musicals and Broadway shows do that a lot now, where it's just like you have your regular cast, sometimes with a name actor in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then you do like stunt casting as it goes on to try to revive. If it's dipping a little bit, you're like, oh, guess what? Now we've got David Hasselhoff as, Herr Schultz. And it's like, okay.
Well, and what about just adding scenes that were deleted from the original release?
That has already happened.
Oh, that's happening already?
I think Anchorman, I remember the first one doing that in theaters. Yeah, where the movie was Anchorman 2, I think, had been out for like a month, and then they're like, now with new added scenes. So,
wow.
It's,
Yeah.
I wonder how much box office it generated at that point, or if people were just like, if they were cut out of the original movie, how, it's probably not gold they're adding to the film or anything.
Yeah.
So.
Although I think for the Star Wars franchise, you probably can get fans to go multiple times to the theater if they know there are going to be additional scenes. And maybe you don't know which dates you go, there will be those additional scenes. So it just gets people
It's like Star Tours or like Pokemon cards. You just have it like every once in a while when you go, it might be the one with extra stuff. Most of the time it's not. Yeah.
Well, so rewinding a second, Andy, you never mentioned if you stick around for the end of the credits or not. You threw the attention onto me and my slovenly Oscar the Grouch ways.
Which I just want to say one more thing about that before we find out if Andrew stays. I thought when you first said that, like in your other podcast, Alex was talking about throwing garbage. I think you said throwing garbage around a movie theater, and I thought you meant like at the screen.
Yeah.
Like I completely thought he was throwing candy, soda.
That is I maintain that is our right to throw things at the screen.
Did you guys go see Rocky Horror and you got confused? You didn't know what the...
I was kind of relieved when you said that he left the trash on the ground, but I also was disappointed. Yeah. So
you don't want to sit in front of me at the movie. It's not a bad movie anyway.
But Andrew, do you stay?
You know, I don't think I do. And from now on, I definitely won't, because I don't want to see those lights come on if most people behave like Alex does at the theater. I don't want to see all the sticky soda with the gummies kind of, what is it, like the candies like meshed into them. I don't even know how you clean that up afterward.
Just ground into the carpet like a Sour Patch Kid. Yeah.
Then again, maybe I won't be able to leave because my feet will be stuck to the ground. I'm sitting next to Alex. He's dumping Coca-Cola extra sugar next to me.
He's trying to get you stuck there. It's like a long-term plan.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's 50-50. There have been some times I stay, but usually I try to get out of there.
Yeah.
Beat the rush home.
Yeah. Leave a couple of minutes before the movie technically ends.
Oh,
yeah.
To kinda... I usually just watch the previews, then leave.
Save a lot of
the previews are so long nowadays, you can pretty much see the whole movie.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I just stay for the trivia, the on-screen trivia and commercials that are before the film.
Have you? I know we're at the very end of this movie, but did you guys talk about? Do you remember what previews you saw before this movie when you first saw it?
I barely remember seeing this movie.
I cannot remember.
No, I thought maybe that was something you had excavated and looked into already.
That's an interesting question to see what, because also I feel like, I don't know, there's so many bad movies. I'm sure it was some John Travolta thing or The Rock doing something. And, the
Don't knock The Rock.
Hey, don't knock The Rock. I like that you picked John Travolta and The Rock to represent bad movies. I don't know if I would have picked...
two of the most bankable movie stars.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean
probably something with Tom Cruise. I don't know. Something terrible.
Some garbage.
Probably.
Some junk. With Al Pacino.
You guys love John Travolta movies. Is that what you're saying? There's never been a bad John Travolta film.
But they're not all bad.
Dench garbage.
Yeah, my gosh. Laurence Olivier, come on. You could have picked some more.
I'm trying to, I cannot find a list. I thought if I just Google that online, somebody will say what movie trailers will be, what were in front of Solo when it played, but
you can put this in the weekend edition too.
Yeah. Well, I do have I had two other notes, like I said, about other credits that we've got going on here. After the cast credits, I wanted to talk about, we've got a in loving memory of Alison Schirmer. And I was like, oh, who's that? Why is this movie dedicated to her? And Alison Schirmer was producer of the movie. She is a quadruplet, one of a set of quadruplets, born in New York City, and then grew up, went to law school, and while she was at law school, she won a campus contest to have lunch with Columbia Pictures executive Stanley Jaffe, and then he became her mentor, and that's how she got into the business and became a successful producer. And that just seems... That just, further cements the idea that this is all just, it's all who you know. Talent will only get you so far. But she was like in law school, not even in film school. She was just in law school and was like, oh, I'll have lunch with this. Probably just, didn't even, it was like a raffle or something, you know what I mean? And she just had lunch with this guy and was like, oh, that sounds fun. And then became a famous movie producer, or well-regarded movie producer, popular, successful movie producer.
That loving memory. I was fixated on the fact that she's a quadruplet.
Yes.
Right? Quadruplet, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the word. That's what you would say.
Yeah.
Were they identical? Do you know? How much did you read about their family?
That all it said was a quadruplet. None of the other ones had Wikipedia articles, so I don't know.
I read the Wikipedia article on all four of them, and they were all four identical. It was uncanny.
The articles are identical?
Yeah, about each of the quadruplets.
They each won a different contest.
They all had a special lunch. They all became famous producers.
One a lunch with an executive from Columbia, one from MGM, one...
He didn't realize. Paramount. He was like, you do the work of 4 people. You work so hard. Thanks,
I think that would be the best thing about being a twin or a triplet or quadruple is you could go, take a vacation while your brother, I guess you'd have to look alike and be the same gender. And
while your brother does all the work.
While my brother goes and does some work.
But
I guess it doesn't really work that way because you would never want to do that for me, right, Alex?
Well, we'll get our triplet brother to do all the work. This is like some kind of fairy tale or
if
something.
You had been twins, it might have been different. He might have wanted to.
If we'd been twins, forget about it. We would have been too busy doing pranks and we would be like the mayor of our town by this point if we had been
the two of you combined to be the mayor, the singular mayor of the town.
Well, we would have been like mayor, and what's the next position in a town?
Vice mayor.
Vice mayor. We would have held both of those positions, but we would have kind of alternated.
Oh yeah.
You would want to be co-mayors?
So that you just both take turns being the mayor, and they would only think that there was one person that was the mayor, but you would also. As
politics. Right?
We had twins that worked. At Forbidden Planet, we had twins that worked at the store, but they worked at the same time and didn't try to pull any shenanigans. Like, it seems like a waste if they both worked there at the same time and both, were on the schedule. Why not just, schedule one and, you can freebird rule, just one of you show up and, sort it out amongst yourselves.
Because then they would have to share a salary also. Or an hourly wage.
But they were well off to begin with, so... Yeah.
Does that rule only apply to twins, or could any siblings follow that rule? You know what I mean? Like when you hire someone, you're basically hiring the whole family. As long as one of you comes in, that's all that matters.
Well, I meant it's the Freebird rule, which is named after the wrestling tag team, the Fabulous Freebirds, who the 2 of them won the tag team championships, but it was a stable of 3 or more people. So the Freebird rule is any 2 members of the expanded team can defend the titles at any given time. So it doesn't have to be the 2 who won it. And so that's been used. It's a good gimmick that's been used a lot in wrestling. And so the same idea, I think, with, use the Freebird rule in work. Be like, okay, you hired me and my brother, but this other guy's going to show up. He's our other brother.
It's very
only one salary.
The Industrial Revolution era.
Every day the family sends a new person, so they spend that entire day getting trained.
That's right.
And then the next day a whole new person, so they never end up doing any real work.
Right, yeah.
Now you're getting
I don't remember how to do any of this. Can you show me again?
You're really earning only one salary at that rate.
Are there any other Pete's in this minute?
I did not see any Pete's in this minute. Normally we get, the one in the credits is normally Peter Mayhew, but he is no longer with us by this point. So
as Chewbacca.
We did, my only other note was for action designer / second unit director, Brad Allen.
Action designer. That sounds like a cool job.
Yeah, it does, right?
Yeah.
Turns out Brad Allen is he's like a martial artist and stunt man.
Huh.
He was somebody who, as a youth, became obsessed with the kind of martial arts and in general kind of Asian culture, particularly I think Chinese way of doing things. But kind of American white kid, but just went all in, studied martial arts, and eventually became the first non-Asian member of the world famous Jackie Chan stunt team. And trivia, he was shorter than Jackie Chan. I think he was like 4'10" or something like that, 4'11", Brad Allen. But so that was it. He's designing basically like the fight sequences and the action, like he's kind of coming up with how they would look, and then also second unit director. So he's the one setting up how they should be filmed, telling people what to do on set. Sadly, Brad Allen also passed away, but after the movie came out, so it's not in loving memory of him. He passed away in 2021. Now, tell me the first thing you guys think of. Passed away in 2021 due to illness. You think that's COVID?
Yeah.
Right.
I was thinking monkeypox, but maybe that's not.
He was a pioneer.
He was, yeah.
I'll go Black Plague. I'll go throw it way back and go they died of Black Plague.
Or polio's making a comeback. Maybe it could be.
Don't call it a comeback.
Well, that was all the notes that I had for 128. Now that we covered Brad and Allison, who are no longer with us. Do you guys, any other notes stand out to you guys? Any other credits?
I just had a little bit about some of the other roles that people went on to do after Solo, a Star Wars story.
Sure.
Alden Ehrenreich, not too much happening until 2020. He was in the Brave New World miniseries. You guys ever read Brave New World?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They made a miniseries?
Yeah, they made a miniseries of it where he played John the Savage. I loved that book in college. I should reread it because I remember really enjoying it as a kind of social critique. I think I disliked it last time I read it as an adult. But okay,
who knows?
Boy.
Could be wrong.
Maybe
I think let's book club it, you guys.
Totally.
Except Pete. Not Pete.
Why don't I get to
let's do it.
Woody Harrelson, perhaps not surprisingly, seems to have had the best. Just the same year Solo came out, he was also in Venom, the Spider-Man spin-off movie, and since then he's been in the Venom 2, I guess. I don't think it was called that. In 2019, he played Archie Bunker in the live TV version of All in the Family. I know. Right? I think I watched that with you, Andy.
That's right. Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah,
I have not.
Yeah, that was great.
Marissa Tomei played Edith. I remember.
All right.
I don't remember who else was in
May
it. But,
herself.
Yeah. And of course, in 2020, Woody Harrelson appeared on Saturday Night Live playing our president, Joe Biden. For a brief amount of time. Yeah.
I didn't see that, but I can see that.
Yeah. It was that time where Biden was running and they didn't have anyone else in the cast who could do a good Biden. So they had a bunch of celebrity it was like every week they had like someone else playing Biden for a while. Right. So, the days gone by. And, Donald Glover was the voice of Simba in the live action Lion King. I don't know if you would call it that, the CGI one. So, there you go. Those were some of the things people.
I would have. I didn't see that, but I would have pegged that as having had come out before this film, but it did not.
2019 is when it
so a year later
came out. Yeah. So the time is all weird.
Yeah,
so weird.
The illness and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all I have for minute number 128.
All right. Well, there are more credits tomorrow. We'll see who can come back and who will live, who will die. In the meantime, hey, look behind Alex and potentially, I think, look behind Andy. They are both. Oh, and Alex is on it. Look on Alex's body. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's several things that are available either at or linked to from our merch store. StarWarsMinute.com/merch will get you to our merch page where you can get several Alex Robinson designs and a couple of other ones. And you can buy stuff on tapestries, shirts, whatever.
Leggings. Got some nice leggings.
Yeah.
Surprisingly nice leggings.
Yeah, I there's a
thank you.
Thank you. No, I mean the actual leggings themselves. They're kind of comfy.
Yeah, I ordered when I first put in the design for the leggings, and I ordered a demo kind of pair and gave them to Ella, and she kind of rolled her eyes a little bit, like, okay, well, I was like, just try them on, see how they. And then she wears them a lot because they're surprisingly comfortable and kind of
cozy and warm.
Yeah.
Do they have footies, or are they just like like, are they like tights? What are they like?
They're like leggings. Yeah, like like yoga pants. You know, like they go down to your ankles and up to your waist, and they cover your legs and your butt.
Did you say
describing
Yoda?
pants to me?
They're like Yoda pants.
Oh. Yoda pants.
We got to do that.
I don't think Yoda wears pants, so.
Oh,
I think he does actually. They're like little burlap pants, but
he wears burlap pants. These are way more comfortable than burlap pants.
I would hope so.
There you go.
Can I get a Star Wars design on some little Yoda burlap pants?
Just for you, I think we can probably work it out. We might have to get it printed on a pin and then stick the pin on there, if that's okay.
Or like hand painted by Alex.
Oh yeah, that we could do. We'll talk to the guy who does our designs.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, go order some burlap pants. Come back and meet us here tomorrow for a brand new episode of Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.